Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com, the tactics trainer. I'm going to try 3 more puzzles. And like before I go ahead and share my thoughts, feel free to pause the video. So let's get going. And actually I'm going to do something slightly different compared to the previous videos. Namely, I'm going to spend, or at least try to not spend no more than 3 minutes in trying to solve each of these 3 puzzles. So let's hop right to it. It's white to move, and my queen is clearly being attacked. Doing a quick material count, I'm up material. Full minor piece, actually a minor piece and a pawn, but white still needs to castle, so I don't. Let's see. I wonder what we're supposed to do here. My first thought is where to move the queen. So, where's a good spot? And I need to be careful about where I move the queen because queen here could be annoying. So, what I'm trying to do here is find a way to address the threat on my queen and at the same time still keep a close eye on c3. I don't think white is needing to do too much. Actually, you know what? There's a secondary square. I'm seeing this one as well. The ideas of taking on b4 or playing to c3 could be quite annoying. Like, for example, queen b6, this is trouble. Check here, take a rook, stuff like that. So is there a way to meet the threat against my queen and still watch over b4 and c3? I could do that by playing here. Queen to c4. My first thought was to play here and attack the bishop, but as soon as I saw I needed to do something about b4 as well, I started to rethink. So I'm thinking queen to c4. That's my first candidate move. I spent almost 2 minutes so far, so just about another minute before I see what the solution is. Whether or not I'm right or wrong. Let's see. Queen c4. Is there a more forcing move? Not really. I can't take the rook. Is there a counterattacking move against the queen? That's not really working. Is it? Ooh, a retreating move might be sneaky. There might actually be something to that. Bishop c1. Oh my goodness, that might be it. Oh man. Okay. 2.5 minute mark. Bishop c1. If rook takes queen, bishop takes queen, I'm still on the rook. Wow. That might actually be it. Because bishop c1, where does the queen even go? If she goes back here, fine, I take the queen and then I complete development. I'm still up that minor piece, so having a queen trade is the same as what? The same as basically winning. I think it's actually bishop c1. I started a little late. I'm going to give myself a few more seconds here. I think it is actually bishop c1 instead of just playing this quiet move, hoping there's not going to be anything great black could do. This is more forcing, retreating move. I think I'm going to go with that. Seems right. Let's go for it. Yes! Those retreating moves. They're not the easiest ones to see. I'm glad I found that. So we're still going on. This is not the end of the puzzle. Okay. Queen takes queen? Yeah, why not? Queen takes queen, knight takes, and then bishop back here. I have to be a little bit careful because of potentially mate on d1. And I believe you just take the queen. Let me just make sure. Queen takes queen, knight takes. Queen takes queen, knight takes is hitting the bishop. I would have bishop to e2, saving my bishop and defending against the mate threat on d1. And if rook to e8, I could always have bishop to e3, interfering with the pressure on e2. I think he could just take the queen. I don't see any big problem with that. Let's take the queen. Yes, that was it. Yeah, it probably should have went a little bit further in my I guess, like after knight takes, it is on the bishop, and it is threatening mate on d1. I think the follow-up of bishop to e2 would save the day, keep that extra piece. All right, let's hop to the next one. Puzzle 2. and it's an endgame puzzle. So, alright. Apparently there's a way to win this one, huh? Interesting. Okay. White to move. Well, there's two unprotected pieces here. Both bishops are unprotected. Is there a way to get here and skewer and pin and then win the bishop? Not really seeing that since the bishop is watching over c6. There's something more. For example, this bishop right here is kind of running out of squares, is he not? He is. For example, rook g1, bishop here, rook h1, pin and win. That's nice. What more might there be? Actually, after rook g1, bishop f3. And then maybe I'm stuck. For a second, I'm giving some thought to rook c2, but there's always a check. Take this bishop, and then bishop versus rook, theoretical draw. That won't be the solution. What other candidate moves might I have here? You'll notice I'm looking at these two right here, rook moves, the forcing moves. I believe the first move will be a rook move. The question is which square, rook g1 or rook to c2? Probably rook g1, like I was saying, rook c2, bishop f1. So this is my first thought. I don't know that I'm really going to come up with something better as a first move here. Rook g1, bishop f3. Here's something I could see here. If after rook g1, if the bishop plays here, I think a strong move might be bishop to f7, threatening rook g6, planting the rook on the 6th rank where all three black pieces would be. But there's clearly some other choices for the bishop after rook g1. There's f3, there's b7, there's a8. There's a lot of different moves, and I don't know the exact responses if it's making use of f3, b7, and a8. I don't even know if playing here with bishop f7 to follow is a good plan. I'm almost at the 3-minute mark. I'm not even sure. Is there something really better than rook to g1? I'm not seeing it. If there is something better. Yeah, I'm just not seeing it. I'm going to give it a shot. I said 3 minutes per puzzle, but it's actually turning out to be much more. That is the first move. Yeah, I'm not calculating these through to its end for sure. So just step by step, I'm really at most thinking maybe 1 or 2 moves ahead, doing it in this manner. But running forward with this puzzle from this point, bishop f3. See, again, I don't even know what I would do if the bishop played here or here. But let's just take it as it is. Bishop is now on f3. So what springs to mind is king here, and then actually I could shut that idea down right away because bishop c5 gone is the rook. So no king e3 move. What about bishop here? Might be something to that. Yeah, I think there is something to that. Yeah. Bishop to f7, I think, might be the one. If bishop h5, there's the pin, and then you win the bishop. So bishop here is threatening this. What if this bishop just moves somewhere and stops the whole fork trick? Like bishop here. Bishop f7, let's say bishop f8. Or bishop here, anywhere, somewhere off of this 6th rank. Is there something better than bishop to f7? King here, again, this, no thanks. Rook here, oh, jeez, how did I miss that? Okay, I get it now. Rook f1, the bishop moves and you hit black with the fork. Yeah, That's what it is, isn't it? Oh, I know what I would do if the bishop played here as well now. It's rook f1. Followed up with the fork. That's the solution. There's a check. This puzzle's still going on. I thought that would be the end of it. But what I was going to say is that after that initial move, after rook g1, bishop f3, if the bishop went here, you come over to whatever file it was on, right? And then with the idea of also playing to the 6th rank. So my king is in check, and now I have to find a good spot for the king, such as king to d4, or where? Yeah, just king here. No, I have to be careful. King here. You see, I want to be able to first clearly get out of check, but after I move my king, I want to make sure that there's not going to be any dogs barking. No. After king d4, there's bishop to a3 with an idea of a skewer. So if I'm thinking about after king d4 to then attack this pinned piece, I'm sadly mistaken. King d4, bishop a3, bishop b2 check. And I'm in some trouble here. So I think I need to dodge this check and stay on a light square. How about here? King e2. That seems like a nice one. King e2. Stay on a light square. That's the only safe light square. So that this bishop can't move and do anything dangerous to my king. So after king e2, the bishop can move and attack my rook, but I can move my rook out of the way and counterattack that bishop, and then finally I will be in a position to play bishop d3 and pick up this pinned piece. I think that that's it. Let's go with king e2. That is it. And then this, and then finally, this was a very sophisticated problem. But just going back to that initial position, if the, this was the initial position. After rook g1, I was saying I didn't know what I would do if the bishop played, let's say, here. I think if it goes to b7 or a8, you have a similar idea. Just like when it played here, it'd be rook f1. Well, if it played to b7, you go to b1. If it goes to a8, you go to a1. And if it went to c6, I think it might actually be bishop to f7. However, I'm not 100% sure on that one. Oh, or maybe just coming over somewhere here, threatening to get on this file, winning one of the bishops. That's maybe the one that's trickiest for me to figure out. But let's dive into this last puzzle. So this was apparently the solution to this one. Okay, last problem. Problem 3 of 3. Let's see if I could go for 3 for 3 here. Black to move. Alrighty. What about rook check? I'm clearly not the only one who's thinking about rook check first. This rook is unprotected. Is there a way to take advantage of that? I don't think so. I'm going to look at these moves first. Check, boom. There's also another check. Okay, so rook check, king h2. G3, check. Let's see. Okay, rook check, king to h2. The king is also now on a diagonal. And so that could be important. That could definitely be important because as soon as the rook plays check and king plays here, this queen is now restricted in some sense, because if she is to go off of this diagonal, there may very well be a queen check on c7, picking up the rook on d8. So taking into account this rook being unprotected, this might be helpful here. So I'm about a minute in. Rook to f1 check, king h2, and then after g3 check, if the queen takes the pawn, I could also be taking this pawn with check. Queen h3. Then there's queen to e5 check. And if the queen comes here to block, there would be rook to h1 deflecting the king away from defense of the queen on g3. I think this is it. Rook check, king h2, g3 check. Now, I only went with the variation where the queen takes, but if the king takes, my first thought is give a check on f2, and if the king goes to the h file, you give a check on h1. If he goes to g4, you're picking up this pawn. If the queen blocks, there's queen takes pawn here. I believe that this is it. Oh, I believe I'm wrong. I'm probably not the only one who's wrong. Ouch. That was painful. What's the first move? Oh, deadly quiet move, I bet. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Are you sure this wouldn't work? Let's see. I'm pretty sure that's it then. I didn't even spend the 3 minutes. I was trigger happy there. I pulled that move off too quick. Yeah, one silent but deadly move. How do you stop mate? The answer is you don't. Ah, man. Yeah, I guess this turns out to be more forcing, because after queen takes here, you end up having the variation I was citing. If I would have only switched those moves, I believe they're going to show queen takes pawn. And now we're going to have that little deflection trick coming up. So, do I get any half credit? Probably not. So this is as far as it's taking it. And after queen here, there would be a check. And then after a queen block, let me see if I could actually bring that up. They have an analysis board here. Oops. Let me just resize it here. There we go. I believe you should be seeing it pretty good right now. Just like that. Nope, not quite yet. Just like that. Just have to resize this window. There we go. So you could actually play through it a little bit. These little VCR controls. So after this, oops. Oh, the computer move was this, and then it was black to move. So after this is what I was talking about. Queen takes. Rook check, king here, queen takes pawn, the queen blocks, check here, and if the queen plays here, there's this move, tactic of deflection. And the other variation that I didn't touch on at all was that at this point, after g3, well, there would be a check, and then after block, you get the queen like this. So I wonder if actually giving check initially is still working. What else am I missing? Maybe you could help me out, those of you that are viewing this video right now. But maybe, well, this I believe is the best continuation, but I wonder if there's maybe half credit available for giving check first and then following up like this. Maybe not. I don't know. There's certainly so many more options for white at this point, so fewer options. Usually it'll be the case that white will have fewer options after you give it check, but when you're getting to this point right here, seems like white is now going to have many different options, whereas if you make that initial silent move, well, you pretty much better take that pawn, because with rook coming here to give mate, well, you got to stop that right away, don't you? Yeah. This turns out that silent move, I guess, as a result, turned out to be much more forcing, believe it or not. All right, so 2 for 3, I'll take it. Feel free to share how you did with these 3, and I will catch you in the next video. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.